What's going on, everybody? Brad here, Fat Man Zoom there. Welcome to Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic. We've made it our mission to help you own it. And today's topic, Fat Man Zoom, I'm actually really pumped about.
Yes, sir.
So I want you to actually let everybody know what exactly it is that we're doing, because I think what the approach that we have is like something that nobody else has actually ever done, I don't think.
Yeah, so we're going to take Cathie Wood, the infamous Cathie Wood's ETFs.
Yes.
So she is the CEO of ARK Invest. ARK has 5 ETFs. You and I have went in there and we're going to build our own ARK portfolio. So we picked 5 stocks each, which neither one of us know what we picked. And we're going to pick our 5, explain why we picked our 5. And you guys who are watching, you can give us feedback on who wins the competition. So we thought we'd have a little bit of fun. What I wanted to do was really accomplish 2 goals that we generally have for the channel, which is, one, you can see returns without having to do speculative stocks, right? Like everybody thinks you have to trade speculative stocks. You can see massive returns with blue chip growth stocks.
Right.
That was one thing. The other thing is just to give people confidence to know that they can actively invest. And this is a little bit of a different strategy rather than just going into an ETF and just setting and forgetting it. You could do the same thing they do.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you guys who don't know who Cathie Wood is, or ARK Invest, or even ETFs. So Cathie Wood is famously known for being probably one of Tesla's biggest bulls. And she was the one that said that Tesla was going to be here, 800% ago, and people thought she was crazy. Turns out she was right. So it almost as if like Cathie is the new, Warren Buffett, and that everything that she buys, everybody just kind of flocks to, and has kind of been that theme for the last year. But so she is the CEO of ARK Invest, and has several actively managed ETFs, from disruptive technology to genomics, all kinds of other stuff. And, so if you guys aren't familiar with what ETFs are, it's basically a portfolio where a pool of stocks are contained, and ARK Invest actively manages them. So they'll buy them, they'll sell them, what have you, to be able to increase the performance of that particular ETF. Yeah,
and let me just break down the 5 and give you guys just a simple overview. So ARK's 5 ETFs are K, Q, W, G, F. K is disruptive innovation. It saw a 152% return last year. Q, autonomous technology and robotics, which includes space exploration, saw a 107% return. ARK W is next gen internet. That saw 157% return in 2020. G is genomics, 180% return last year. And fintech, ARK F, 108% return last year.
That's unbelievable.
It's wild. So each fund has about 30 to 50 holdings in it, and their expense ratio, which is basically the fee you pay, is 0.75%. For those of you who don't know, it's good. Like you're looking for under 1%. You don't want to pay more than that.
Right.
It's not the best, but it's really good, especially with those returns. 0.75% all day. Take it.
And normally I would say to stay away from ETFs in general, just because I prefer to be a little bit more aggressive. So if you guys are looking for like a set it and forget it, okay, cool, fine. But ETFs usually, I guess the downside of ETFs is that they're going to have really good stocks along with ones that are kind of shitty. So they're not going to do as well as maybe individual stocks might do. So we thought that it would be a good idea to pluck some and cherry pick some of the ones that we thought that were our favorite that could potentially outperform ARK Invest altogether as well. So
and shouldn't people think of their portfolio as an ETF essentially?
Yeah.
It should be diversified a bit.
Right.
It should have different exposure, not over leveraged in some. And all the information, so Brad and I, although we don't know the stocks we've picked, we did use the same information, and it's available to you all. So if you go to ARK's page, it shows all of the information. I just went through the top 10 holdings. You went through the top 15. And because that matters, right? That shows their confidence in certain stocks. But it'll show all their holdings, the percentage, and the dollar amount they have in each holdings, which I think basically relates to their conviction of that stock. So we believe, go in there, you look for yourself. It's a great starting point for new investors and traders, I think, because it allows you to take advantage of their due diligence. And then from there, you look at the stocks and you start doing your own research and figuring out which ones you want to take. So I know that all your 5 are from the same one, right? The same ETF. I believe I have one from all of them.
Okay.
Or at least I know for sure 4. So we're going to get into that. So you're going to kick off your 5 stocks that are going to be your ETF. But before we do that, I actually already know this guy like the back of my hand, and I wanted to predict what his 5 are. So right now we're going to show you on the screen the 5 stocks that I know Brad's going to pick. This is going to be easy. I'm already going to know. All right, so go ahead, kick it off, brother.
I mean, I won't even be surprised if you get them all right. But so yes, I ended up picking them all from one particular ETF, and that is ARK. I actually am a huge fan of just disruptive technology. So this is kind of like my wheelhouse, something that I was really passionate about. And so obviously I think we'll just get this one out of the way, and it's Tesla. Tesla is their largest holding. 8.75% of ARK contains Tesla, which is actually a lot smaller than it used to be. It was actually at 1.12%, and they've kind of whittled that down a little bit. But I mean, it's Tesla. You can't get any more disruptive than that. I love the stock. We don't need to really go into details as far as where this thing's headed. We all kind of know. So Tesla is definitely one that I would always have in my portfolio. The next one is going to be...
I'm 1 for 1.
I mean, that was a gimme. That was,
yeah.
Teladoc. So Teladoc is their number 3 holding at 5.21% of their ETF. And I like Teladoc just because it is disruptive. Telehealth is going to be the future, and it was only exacerbated, obviously, from the pandemic. So really love Teladoc. I think that's one worth holding on to forever. The next one that I think also is going to do really well, I'm going out of order here, is Zoom. And Zoom is their number 15 holding. I actually thought that Zoom would have been a little bit higher than that, especially as much as they've been buying. They have a ton of shares of that, but it actually only takes up about 2.18% of their portfolio. So Zoom's another one that I think that is going to do really, really well. Remote work is here to stay, whether people like it or not. And it's a household name. It's like a verb now in people's homes. Zoom is. So it's just not going anywhere. We've talked about how remote work, and even really like when we're talking about Peloton and some of the things as far as just doing things at home, it's just going to be the way of the future. So Zoom, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this holding move up on their list to maybe even top 10. Really surprised it was top 15 or number 15. The next one's going to be Spotify at number 8. I like Spotify a lot. I can't take you seriously. So I like Spotify at number 8. 3.14% of their ETF is held with Spotify. And
are you sure? Spotify, is that you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you misread and it was Shopify.
No, it's Spotify. Damn. Yeah. Spotify is, their number 8 holdings. And, people might actually wonder how this can be disruptive. What we're doing right now is actually disruptive, and that is essentially podcasting. Podcasting and content creation is just going to continue to roll, and people will think that it's been around forever, and it has, but it's still, in my opinion, in its infancy. There's still so much room for growth. I think Spotify is actually in a really good spot, and wouldn't it be crazy if Spotify actually ended up acquiring or just bringing in something like Barstool or Dave Portnoy? We've kind of speculated about that. That would be huge since they've already got Joe Rogan and all that good stuff. So that's definitely on my radar, worth holding. The last one, number 5, is their number 4 holdings at 4.89%, and that is Square.
Obvious choice.
I should have gone with PayPal just to mess with you. But no, I Square, obviously, so as far as disruptive technology goes, they are pretty heavy into crypto and Bitcoin in particular. Jack Dorsey. Can't get much more disruptive than that. So I really like Square. It's obviously moved up a ton, but still undervalued in my opinion. I think this is going to continue to do well. Those are my 5 holdings that I think are worth grabbing in the ARK ETF.
Kudos to you, man. I thought you were going to be real. I think I got 3 out of 5. What's my score? Yeah. I think 3 out of 5. So we'll see what the score is. But I do like your list. I'm a little bit surprised, but I think it is a great list. Stepping outside the box a little bit. But for my 5, let's start. Number 1, Tesla. I too will get this out of the way. How could you not?
I know, yeah. You just have to own it.
It's the number 1 holding in our Q, K, and W. You mentioned 8% in our our K.
Yeah.
Our Q has 10% So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're like heavily invested in. They're all in on this thing.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Shopify.
Okay.
I have Shopify as the e-commerce play. We'll talk about another e-commerce play I didn't take that I was close to. Amazon gets all the love, but I think Shopify has huge room to grow. I really like it as an e-commerce play. And for those of you, I know it's still expensive, but for those of you not willing to pay $3,200, Shopify is a cheaper option. I believe they both have similar growth potential as far as the technicals look. Third, Baidu.
Yeah, see, I saw that one, and I was thinking about it.
So one of the largest internet and AI companies. When I was thinking about my 5 and my ETF, I wanted to make sure I was diversified. So I wanted some international exposure. This is a Chinese stock. Basically, can we say this is like Chinese Google?
Yeah.
Is our best bet. Yeah. And so this is that type of play. I think there's a lot of opportunity from the AI end, but also China's a huge market. Maybe some choppiness in the short term, but long term, Baidu should be good. Number 4, Teladoc. I too chose Teladoc for a couple reasons that I don't think you necessarily mentioned, but you know their job is the digitization of healthcare,
right?
And so we love the healthcare space. We love the cloud space. So we got the healthcare movement with the cloud movement. This to me seems perfect. One, again, that we don't talk enough about, but we are both incredibly bullish on this company, especially for a long-term portfolio. Last, but not least, I think this is going to surprise everybody. GBTC.
That does surprise me.
It is their second largest holding in ARK W, and we mentioned the conviction, what that means. So if that's how much they're putting in, they're in that. Again, this is a hedge. For me, this is a hedge. It would be, if I put money into these 5, it would be my smallest position, but I love it as a hedge. If you don't know what this is a vehicle that tracks Bitcoin. So for the most common comment I see on Twitter, on YouTube is essentially like, where can I buy Bitcoin?
Right.
A lot of it's inconvenient. Some people don't want to deal with digital wallets. Some people don't want to deal with sort of the work that goes into managing Bitcoin.
Yeah.
On top of that, there's fees. Like if you go to PayPal, if you buy wherever you buy it through, you're going to be paying fees. And so to me, the ease of execution, I like GBTC. I like it as a hedge. And so I've talked about how I've gotten into Bitcoin as a hedge. This is a great play to follow that. And that is my number 5 and rounds out my wonderful portfolio.
That's really great too. I think it's actually, as far as well-roundedness is concerned, it's definitely got all of that. And obviously, because you picked from all different ETFs, but the 2 that surprised me the most was the GBTC and Baidu. I was looking at it and thinking that maybe you probably go with that, but the other 3 really weren't all that surprising to me.
Yeah, that should reflect your portfolio, right?
Yeah.
Like your portfolio. And this was just a fun exercise, but I think the takeaways for the people watching are you need to, first of all, you need to think about what your goals are, but also you need to realize that your positions need to be reflective of your confidence in things, but also to take advantage of the swings that the economy has, the market has, and really where the attention is. And so if the attention goes to Bitcoin can move up. But then you have stuff like Tesla is always going to do well. Tesla's always going to be a monster. And you also need those as foundational stocks. I think it's safe to say that if we had $10,000 that we were investing in these 5 stocks, Tesla would be the largest position.
100%.
Yeah.
Does it surprise you at all that there's no Apple in any of them?
I didn't even think about that until you said it. Yes, it absolutely does.
I wonder why.
Well,
I mean, is it just that they're not disruptive enough, or because that's just kind of like their brand. But it is surprising that they don't own any, like Microsoft or like out of the FANGs, they don't own any of the FANGs, and Tesla's the number 1 conviction.
That's because I would say Apple's disruptive.
Yeah.
I don't know why if I ever met Cathie Wood, That's a great question to ask.
Yeah.
I think that's the first question you would ask.
I would think so too.
But yeah, I think they're disruptive, and I really have no idea why. I mean, because my first thought was like, well, they've been around for so long. Is there the growth potential? But the growth potential is still there for Apple, for sure, Apple, but even the other ones you mentioned.
All right, guys. Well, let us know in the comments below which ones you like out of the ARK ETFs the most.
Yeah, give us your 5.
This
What
is a
are
great
your
list,
5?
but like they have so many other good companies that are in there. And yeah, give us a rundown. Give us a list in the comments. What are your top 5? And to be completely honest with you, I forgot to grab a comment from the last video, so we're just gonna have to skip it this week, or at least in this video. But either way, we'll make sure to grab it from for the next video, guys. So make sure to leave comments down there, and it'll show up in the next video. Anything else from you?
Yeah, just anybody who is interested in getting our daily watch list, go visit ownthechaos.com. The link is in the description. Click on free watch list. We send out a free watch list every morning before the market opens with 5 stocks we're watching, and we're truly trading, not ARK.
Yes. That's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.